Pro Wrestling 225 family. I'm Spencer alongside Landon, and we are here to get you set for Showdown.
That's right. Showdown in Houma returns March 5th in the East Park Rec Center.
That's right. It is an afternoon show. Doors open at 1, which means Power Hour kicks off at about 1:15, and then the show begins at 2 o'clock. What a great afternoon for wrestling in Houma, Louisiana.
I absolutely cannot wait. Man, last time we were in Houma, Louisiana, what an incredible night of wrestling that was.
Exactly. We had such a huge year in Houma last year, making memories. But we're excited for new ones in the new year because we are coming off of one of the best events in the history of Pro Wrestling 225, Super Gold 7. And when you talk about some of the most incredible things that have happened in the history of Pro Wrestling 225, it is the game-changing performance by Christian Blake, the winner of the Super Gold 7 Rumble.
Broke records from top to bottom. I mean, just in the feel-good moment, seeing Brett Ian Landry return at Super Gold and stand by the side of the victorious Christian Blake, and seeing Jordan Jaw come out, the reunion, so to speak, of the Overboys. It was such a great moment.
I will never forget it. Streamers all over the place. The culmination of a story that has just been building for over 7 years for Christian Blake to not only win the Rumble, but to earn himself, no matter what, another shot at Corey Constantine and that Pro Wrestling 225 heavyweight championship at some point down the line. But we've got so much going on in Houma on March 5th, don't we, Landon?
Absolutely. There's going to be a double main event, 2 incredible matches, but that's not all. There's going to be the appearance of a tag team that we haven't seen in so long, since the Beat the Clock Challenge at Born to Rise. That's right, the Make It's will be in Houma, Louisiana on March 5th.
The Make It, such an incredible tag team. The Russell Twins and Isaiah Zane are back in Pro Wrestling 225 after their high-flying debut in 225 last year, and they are back in such an incredible tag team division in Houma.
Oh man, I mean, you have to imagine they've got their eyes on Disobey's Pro Wrestling 225 Tag Team Championships.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen those two teams go at it before, and we would love to see them clash again. There's so much happening in Houma, Louisiana, and none of that would be possible without our sponsors of Pro Wrestling 225. So we want to send a big shout out to all of you guys that help us put on these shows, and that of course includes our friends at Restored Motions, Civil Design and Construction, Alyssa School of Performing Arts, Suspense Games, Just John's, 301 Flooring, and Lemoyne Oil. Guys, thank you so much for helping us put these events together for such an incredible crowd like we get at the East Park Rec Center in Houma.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And you mentioned Super Gold. One man who had an incredible performance at Super Gold 7 was the Baton Rouge Bullet, Jace Valor.
Coming off of, if you remember, Fright Night, our last event of the year in 2022, he wins that Trick or Treat Fatal 5-Way match to earn himself a shot at the SEC Championship, and he doesn't waste time cashing it in. He goes at that SEC title against Vladimir Koloff at Super Gold 7, and without the use of a chain from Vladimir Koloff, Jace Valor would be SEC champion today.
A chain?
Yes.
A chain? I think you're talking about the sickle.
No, it was
from
not.
Vladimir Koloff. The most devastating maneuver in Pro Wrestling 225.
It sure helps when you've got a hunk of metal there to help you hit somebody in the face.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Jace Valor nearly became singles champion with the SEC title for the first time in his Pro Wrestling 225 career at Super Gold 7, but he will be back in Houma, Louisiana at Showdown, ready to take on any challenger.
You don't want to miss this. Jace Valor, always such an exciting athlete to watch in there. But you know who else is going to be in the East Park Rec Center? I think you can feel the boom, because it's going to be Mustang Mike.
And you have to be wondering with Mustang Mike, right? So much was on the line going into Super Gold 7. That story was personal. That rivalry was personal with Michael White. And for the chips to be stacked against him, right? We had Thaddeus as a special guest referee, Bad Business, the third member of the Crook Mob as guest timekeeper. Both of them, we thought Mustang Mike was maybe going to get an actual one-on-one shot with Michael White, but that didn't happen. But the other thing that happened at Super Gold 7, after Mustang Mike lost, do you remember this? The attack seemed to be on. The Crook Mob was getting ready to just absolutely pummel Mustang Mike. But then the lights went out at the LM Lockhart gym and a mysterious figure appeared at the top of the ramp.
I'm still trying to piece together exactly what we saw at Super Gold. I mean, we know there's been this figure that has appeared, even so far as to say he appeared at Michael White's own home.
Right.
And now he's shutting off the electricity in LM Lockhart and showing up at Super Gold. What are this mysterious person's intentions? And dare I say it, could it be Jordan Ja? I mean, we've seen the speculation.
It's interesting you say that because you're absolutely right. The Pro Wrestling 225 family has been sort of trying to guess who this masked figure could be, and Jordan Ja has been popping up a lot in that conversation. What could he have to gain by doing something like this?
Be honest with you, that makes absolutely no sense to me, but there's been some evidence put forward, so I guess maybe we'll learn more at Showdown.
Right, either way, Mustang Mike will be in action. Obviously, coming off hot from Super Gold 7, looking to settle some scores in Houma, make no doubt about it. But when we talk about a showdown in Houma, Louisiana, we talked about a double main event, and more to come on that in just a moment. But we are so excited for our ever-growing women's division in Pro Wrestling 225 because in Houma, Louisiana, March 5th, don't forget, doors open at 1, show starts at 2 at the East Park Rec Center. The glamorous Amaris Blair is back in action in Pro Wrestling 225, and she's going to go one-on-one with a newcomer in Pro Wrestling 225, but certainly not a newcomer to professional wrestling. She has been making a name for herself all over the world, and that is Devlin Macabre.
Devlin Macabre, Amaris Blair. I cannot wait to see these two in a Pro Wrestling 225 ring. Man, Amaris Blair was on a hot streak in Pro Wrestling 225. You have to imagine she is ready to get back at Cody King and have her chance at the Pro Wrestling 225 Women's Championship.
But she's got a tall task ahead of her because here's the thing about Devlin. Devlin is someone that is vicious, that is brutal, will make no hesitation when it comes to doing what it takes to win, whether that's injuring you, spitting in your face, it doesn't matter. Devlin is out to make a statement each and every time she's in the ring, and she's going to try to make her first statement in Pro Wrestling 225 in Houma, Louisiana at Showdown.
These women are going to fight tooth and nails in the East Park Rec Center March 5th. Be there.
But, Landon, you mentioned it at the start of the preview show here. It is such an exciting time in Pro Wrestling 225 because in Houma, Louisiana, we have a double main event.
I absolutely cannot wait. We talked about the historic performance in Super Gold for the game changer, Christian Blake. So we know Christian Blake is going to get a shot at Corey Constantine's Pro Wrestling 225 Heavyweight Championship. However, there is another man who is staking his claim to the championship, and that man is the ring wrecker, Vordell Walker.
Oh, man. This has big fight feel written all over it. When you talk about the build-up, right? Vordell Walker twice has been cheated out of the Pro Wrestling 225 Heavyweight Championship thanks to Cody King.
Yes.
Since he's returned to Pro Wrestling 225. So you have to say there's a totally logical and fair argument that Vordell should be next in line for the title.
Well, he absolutely should. And so getting to see two people that could very well be our next Pro Wrestling 225 Heavyweight Champion clash before their championship opportunity. I mean, it's going to be balls to the wall. These men have something to prove, and I can't even begin to pick between the two.
And not to mention, Vordell Walker, obviously a former Pro Wrestling 225 heavyweight champion. Christian Blake, after going nearly an hour in the Super Gold Rumble, is as good as he has ever been. So these two, at the top of their game, are going to clash in a showdown in Houma, Louisiana. That's this Sunday, March 5th. Don't forget, doors open at 1. Show starts at 2 o'clock. Be sure to visit all social media for Pro Wrestling 225 and Eventbrite to get your tickets early.
Ladies and gentlemen, the last time the Asian Cajun Jordan Ja was in the East Park Rec Center, he made history. He defeated his idol, the Mad Dog, Gil Gracie.
That marked the first time and only time in the history of Pro Wrestling 225 that Gil Gracie has lost back-to-back matches at the hands of Jordan Ja in Houma, Louisiana. And Jordan Ja now gets a shot. And we've talked about it ever since the Overboys were forced to break up thanks to Disobey and to general manager Michael White. Jordan Ja has been staking out a name for himself in the singles division. And he's gotten massive wins over the course of the last 6 months. But perhaps his biggest opportunity yet, because in Houma, Louisiana, at the East Park Rec Center, Jordan Ja gets a shot at the SEC Championship as he's going to go one-on-one with Russian Destruction, Vladimir Koloff.
Oh, man. I mean, dream match of mine. Two of my absolute favorite performers to see anywhere in the world, and it's going down in Houma, Louisiana, March 5th. Get there.
Here's the thing. I want to know, can Vladimir Koloff get the job done without using a foreign object, without cheating, without using the chain?
I'm not exactly sure what you're implying. It sounds like you're trying to insult the SEC champion. I mean, he's been one of the most dominant champions in the history of Pro Wrestling 225. And I do think he's going to have a major challenge against a man like Jordan Ja. I mean, talk about a clash of styles. Jordan Ja is going to give him a run for his money. But I don't see any world where Vladimir Koloff would stoop to the level of using a foreign object.
When did you get these blinders when it comes to Vladimir Koloff?
My glasses are working fine. You want to try them yourself?
I see clear as day that Vladimir Koloff used the chain not once, but twice at Super Gold 7 when he helped Corey Constantine win his tag team match with the help of the chain, right? He was the insurance that night. I don't need these to see what Vladimir Koloff is up to. We will see March 5th in Houma, Louisiana, as Vladimir Koloff is forced to face Jordan Ja with that SEC championship on the line.
It's going to be one hell of a night. We'll be there. We'll see you there. We'll see you there early. Get there at 1 o'clock for Power Hour before the show starts. It's going to be a big one.
Don't forget a big shout out to our sponsors. That's 301 Flooring, Just John's, Alyssa School of Performing Arts, Suspense Games, Restored Motions, and Civil Design and Construction. Thank you guys so much as we head on down to Houma for what is sure to be a showdown.